Hey guys, welcome back to Uncle Fresh Reef. Today we're going to talk about how to install an RODI system. There are a lot of options on where to install an RODI system. I chose to put mine in the laundry room because I had this blank space where I could mount the RODI system, as well as the laundry, fresh water, and a drain, which made it easy to get the water in and out of the RODI system. So here is where I notched the part in the crown molding so I could fit a 3/4 inch piece of plywood. I pre-painted the piece of plywood, then held it up against the wall and started pre-drilling holes for where I put the wall anchors and where I drill into an existing stud. Here are the wall anchors that I used. I got this kit at Walmart. I installed them, beat them in with a hammer, got everything ready to go. I installed 6 wall anchors, 3 on the left side, 3 in the center, and then over on the right side I went directly into the stud. Okay, I got the plywood put up. 9 screws are holding it down. It is very secure. Here are the screws that I used. I had these left over from another project. I actually found the included bit that I needed to use. Next, I installed the RODI system, the 3 canisters, and removed the membrane so I could get it screwed into the plywood. The washing machine made an excellent workbench. Here you can see all the different tools and all the lines that I needed to sort out so that I could get the rest of the install done. Next up is cutting all the lines, and I went to BRS and got this handy line cutting tool. Best $5 I've ever spent. Highly recommend it. I got the system installed, and here's the Rubbermaid Brute 32 gallon, which came with the lid from Lowe's for only $29. Notice also that I did spend the $34 to get the rollers to get it out to the aquarium. Here is the wastewater line as well as the freshwater line for the RODI system, and where it goes into the drain for the laundry, and all of it's zip tied and fastened to the underside of the cabinet in a big loop so I have extra room, and again fastened to the side of the cabinet. I got a hook on the side of the cabinet for my canister tool so that I can easily get these off and hopefully not lose the tool. Got a blue line coming out of the DI canister going into the Rubbermaid container. So got the system running, and you'll notice 75 psi. There's my auto shut off TDS meter. Coming down, got the membrane flush kit right here, which also has the restrictor built in. And I am making some water. So let's get into why my PSI is so high. So I've got 75 psi coming into the membrane, which I thought was a bit too much. So come to find out after talking with BRS that the membrane flush kit I had was an 800 ml, which was designed and to be used with the dual membrane kit. So the one I needed was a 550 ml for the 75 gallon per day membrane, which I currently have. So here's a close-up of the membrane flush kit that I have, the 800 ml, and I need to go ahead and get the 550. So temporarily what I can do is I can open up the membrane flush kit and allow some of the pressure to escape. By doing so, I've been able to back my pressure down to 65 psi, which is more desirable for the membrane. Even though it comes rated at 50 psi, BRS wants 65 psi or recommends 65 psi. So I got the PSI situation under control, and the TDS monitor is showing 000, which I was really happy with. Turns out that my tap water is 065, so I've got some pretty clean tap water, which means my membrane ought to last me a long time before I need to replace it. So lastly on top, here's my auto shut-off valve. I had a little bit of difficulty hooking this up because the instructions were lost, so I had to go back to the BRS videos and figure out how to do it. So as you can see, coming out of the membrane is a blue line. It has a check valve in it. Then you have the auto shut-off valve, which has the screws facing down. You have an in and an out side of this valve. So it's important to figure that out and to know that the screws point down. And coming out of there, the blue line then goes on to the DI resin chamber. The red line on the top left of the auto shut-off valve is coming from the carbon blocks. Coming out of it is where it's going to go into the membrane. So this is what's actually feeding the membrane coming out of the carbon blocks. So I've teed off this, and this is where you want to measure your pressure at. I want to know the pressure that's going into the membrane after the carbon blocks. So that way I can maintain it at 65 psi, which BRS recommends. So from here, it'll go on to the membrane, and then off the back side is the black line that I use for the wastewater. And below it is what we just been talking about, is the membrane flush kit. Okay, so let's start wrapping this up. Last part of my RODI system is going to be the DI resin chamber that I added. I got the 1.25 pounds of DI color changing resin from BRS, packed it in there nice and tight, and as you can see, I have a clear chamber so that I can tell when it changes color. So again, I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I hope it is informative. I hope it helps some folks out. If you have any questions, please leave them below. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time with more on my 93 gallon cube build.